Welcome to Homo Politicus. On the show, we interrogate the issues thrown up by the Nigerian polity. And today, Guba polls, that's gubernatorial polls, Supreme Court thrashes appeal court decisions. Now, in most legal jurisdictions, a Supreme Court, also known as the Court of Last Resort, is the apex court and high court within the hierarchy of courts. Broadly speaking, therefore, the decisions of a Supreme Court are final and are not subject to a further review by any other court for that matter. The Nigerian Apex Court on Friday, January 12, 2024, delivered final judgments on the governorship elections of 8 states, namely Lagos, Kano, Zamfara, Ebonyi, Plateau, Abia, Cross River, and Bauchi. For the umpteenth time, the Supreme Court has, like a Daniel come to judgment, intervened, thereby rendering the ballot box immobile in determining election outcomes. Question, is this a healthy development? And for that matter, is the judicialization of the process good for us after our near 64-year flag and anthem independence? Let's have a conversation, please. For that matter, we'll turn things over to in-house analyst Cyril Abaku. Cyril, I greet you.
I greet you too.
Well, Cyril is a broadcaster and a communications expert, so he's a man for the subject matter.
I was thinking, by the way, that it will not be out of place to say Happy New Year to you.
Happy survival, too. Happy survival.
You can say that again.
Yeah. So, again, you are having to talk about the judicialization of the political process in our country. Is that healthy for us?
So let's quickly take the discussion one step further by saying that right now where we are, I won't blame the Court of Appeal. I hail the Supreme Court, but we need a situation in which the National Judicial Council is able to immediately mete out commensurate discipline to the leadership and constitution of the Court of Appeal. They need to explain how they arrived at the judgments they arrived at.
Okay.
Because they were not creative in any way. They were destructive. They were not helpful. They were destructive. They've caused damage. They've caused injury. And these are irreversible by law. So the question is, if in time past the Supreme Court had reached a decision and the similar matter was brought to a lower court, that lower court now has the judicial temerity and impetus. You know what I mean? And the courage to say that they could differ with the court, with the highest court in the land. The reason is why. If it was justifiable or justified, we wouldn't have been here talking about the whys and wherefores. But you couldn't have now gone to a case that had been settled by the highest court in the land and what's the word? Divert, as it were. No, divert from it. It wasn't because you were trying to apply something that's what lawyers call blue pencil rule or anything like that. It didn't leave any creative, innovative frontier. You rather took us backwards by 10 years or even by a century. So since and it was good that the Supreme Court in past making final judgment, I think it was Justice Agim that took a swipe and said, you people at the Court of Appeal, how don't you understand how to address this question? If you didn't know what to do, at least you could have known that the Appellate Court has settled this kind of matter before. By the way, it was the same Court of Appeal as the Court of First Instance in determining the presidential appeal brought by the APM, PDP, and LP that said that the kind of questions that were brought by the Labour Party and PDP and APM were matters that didn't require to be brought to it. They were election matters. And that they were not part of the APC, and that they were not. So, but that same court now, when the APC brought it in the name of Plateau State and all these people, now forgot forgot its own ruling, and then ruled. So it means who brings a matter determines what kind of ruling you get, not the law anymore.
But is it not proper to go from the top, which is talking about the politicians? Aren't you scandalized that the Second Republic some 45 years or so ago came and we didn't have any such things?
We did not. Now, somebody is even saying that Justice Dongba Mesem, who is the chairman of the Court of Appeal, is from Shendam local government area
Of Plateau.
the same local government area with Simon Lalong. Now, people are beginning to insinuate all kinds of things. But you see, where
Naturally.
this whole thing is going, even the law will say that justice must not only be done, but must also be what?
Be seen to be done.
So it's fine that the courts have ruled the way they've ruled, but there must be justice. There must be redress. There must be a way to remedy this matter, perhaps not by the courts, because if we say by the courts, it raises all kinds of judicial questions. But then the Court of Appeal must explain to Nigerians how they arrived at the decision they arrived at.
So we must talk about the principal actor in all of this. I know you are familiar with the theatrics and what do you call it, the polemics of politicians.
Yeah.
Aren't you surprised they still have not changed since the Second Republic?
No, they won't change because the courts offer for them a sanctuary, a veritable sanctuary for them to hide. You know, before now, they committed a crime around to the sanctuary. But now what they've done, the sanctuary has been expanded. They commit the crime within the sanctuary and then remain there. So nobody gets to know. We only feel the impact of it. In the Second Republic, in fact, in the First Republic, you know that I've said it before, the elections that brought Tafawa Balewa back to Parliament in 65 were not very smooth. We had questions. I think it had to do with his nomination or the votes cast. But Justice Nigel Real, it was a British justice who, you know, just did some abracadabra and blessed the mess of his election. But that is even by the way. When we come to the Second Republic, it is now on record that as of 1978, the federal government of Obasanjo had consulted with the late Chief Richard Akinjide to work out, and it was Akinjide that told the federal government, the federal military government back then, that the election of the following year was going to wind up in court, and told them what was going to happen. Imagine a political system in which people are already determining how matters were going to end up in court a year before, and everything played out according to pattern. The votes cast, the determination of the 19 states, and so on. Now, when we put that on one other side of the equation, I think over the years, politicians have now come to learn that what they can't get from the ballot, they can
get from the courts.
No, they can get under the gavel. So, and they are. I think for them it is easier and more profitable and more rewarding to go to the gavel than to go to the ballot. Meanwhile, the idea of the republic, which we revolutionized by democracy, is the fact that the people must be the ones who choose their leaders, and that the courts will only be in exceptional cases where they needed to, you know, seek interpretation or seek some remedies. But the courts were not meant in any way to become the substantive determinants of election outcomes. Where we are now, you will because I mean, you know, the moment the courts began to play this pivotal central role, deterministic role, what happened was that, you see, the politicians, the pressure on the courts now also significantly and reasonably spiked up.
So are we to conclude that the judiciary has become a stabilizing factor?
No, you know, a stabilizing factor, yes and no. A destabilizing factor, yes and no too. Because in the Plateau case, for example, you'd find that the Supreme Court has come to now give us some leeway, some kind of reprieve, if you like, some kind of redress to the gross and grievous injustice that came from the Court of Appeal. That is one. But the Court of Appeal itself, because I mean, those cases terminated at the Court of Appeal, 8 lawmakers in Plateau State alone. In fact, the Speaker of Plateau State is now saying that he will not recognize about 16 or so of them that that the court had awarded relief to be the main, to the APC lawmakers that the court said should now go and become the members of the National Assembly. Having sacked the PDP, he's saying he won't. So you are setting the stage for anarchy.
So how do you react to the situation in Edo regarding this? 14 duly elected members not sworn in.
No, the question is that a lot of times, and again, in Edo, for example, somehow when you see a matter remain comatose for as long as it has remained, it is clear about the fact that
it was planned to be so.
A political solution has been worked out, and this is where they find themselves. Is that you're seeing?
And a people of 14 constituencies are denied representation.
No. So what we now even need to do is to rethink, is to reimagine and re-observe and rethink the Nigerian state, and what essentially is the foundation philosophy of those who run the state, whether they are seen or unseen. You see, Nigeria is a unique country. Look at how they explain the president.
Unique to the point of not belonging in the Committee of Nations.
Yes. I agree with that completely. Nigeria is run like a rogue state. Just imagine. The court, there's a pending court case in Rivers State. The lawmakers said they were defecting to the APC. All sorts of things. Then the president, in spite of the cases in court, had a meeting with the governor and Mr. Wike. Then, in a way, there is a settlement. There was a settlement of the matter. They even signed an agreement and made it public.
Disputed agreement.
I don't know who is disputing it. The governor said it's not suicide, that it was okay. It was going to. I know he said it wasn't a death sentence, that it was okay with it. All right. Then, but how about the court cases? How about the substantive issues of justice? Lawmakers who defected from the PDP to the APC without cause.
Are you surprised that cases dating back to 2011, 2010 are still in courts?
No. Again, this is the issue. Everything is a script. And that's why I say it may be better, before we even talk about this issue, it may be better to reinterrogate and reimagine the philosophy, the concept of statehood as conceived by those who are running. Because until you understand their minds, you can't. The American Constitution speaks to the philosophies and mindsets of those who founded America and who are running it today. If you, when you listen to Americans, I was listening to an American promo, a teaser or something on YouTube yesterday, and the person said that they celebrate their country, America. Listen to this. And the republic on which it stands. That's heavy. The republic on which it stands.
The country stands.
Yes. So whereas you want to look at America is a republic, no. America is a country that stands on a republic. What does Nigeria stand on?
A predetermined republic.
Yes. What is a republic? A republic is a political entity in which the people choose their leaders. The people elect their leaders.
In other words, in which the ballot box is sanctified.
Exactly. And so democracy...
So no resort to the courts.
Yes. So again, democracy is the vehicle for running and maintaining the republic.
That's it.
It could be parliamentary democracy. It could be constitutional. It could take any other form. But it is essentially a republic because the people have the say.
Are you able to characterize our own republic?
This is the question.
Yeah.
We are a republic, if because what I'm going to define now may not be a republic any longer. So let's just say that we become a state that stands on its judiciary. Because you have to, I mean,
based on
yes,
our collective election, we have elected to make it that way. No, we have elected.
No, I see, but yes, but see where I'm going. We are that is whether we want to accept it or not.
Yeah.
But that is whether we elected to make it so or not. Because if you a Kwango can connive and impose what it's more. I mean, when coups happen, what do you do? How many people agree to have a coup? But that country comes to be known as a military or militarized state. Is that not so? Now, for example, Mussolini was a totalitarian, right? In North Korea, you have maximum rulers. Some people are just called dictators. Some are despots. Some are tyrants. Some are so. You see, even dictatorship has different forms. The monarchies of Europe, some are okay. No, in Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy.
Yeah.
Maybe in Jordan, right? Absolute monarchy. But in countries like England and so on, England, Denmark, Greece and so on, it's not absolute monarchy. Good, because there's a republic and then the ceremonial leader, justice. Yeah. So, but if you look at what we are becoming, it is difficult to characterize. Even if you say we are a democracy, we may have become a judicial democracy.
Are you saying, therefore, that we have found it difficult to characterize us?
No. So
as
I
a
think
people, as a polity.
No, so I think all that we need to do is to sit, it's like what I'm doing now, is to carefully assess and carefully study where we're going, what we're doing, and be honest about it. Like I said, we will be a democracy. Under General Ibrahim Babangida,
yeah,
at a point, we were a diarchy. Am I correct?
Yeah.
There could be diarchy, there could be triarchy. A diarchy is when you have military and civilians ruling together side by side. Ibrahim Babangida was the head of state. The governors had been sworn in.
Yeah.
It was a diarchy. All right, good. You could have a triarchy, which was, I think, suggested.
But even in a diarchy, the constitution is suspended.
Yeah, well, I mean, but a measure of it is also in operation. So the governors are sworn in, and they can't be ruling by edict alone. Well,
debatable.
Yes, it's debatable. But I mean, largely, if the military head of state has said something, you couldn't contravene him.
Yeah.
Because as a matter of fact, there was a National Assembly that had been inaugurated, except that everybody was reporting to the military head to the military president. Now,
tainted democracy.
Can I ask this question? Assuming Parliament in 1993 had passed a resolution, an extraordinary resolution, calling for the transmission, what's the word? Transmutation, am I correct?
Yeah.
Of former military president Babangida to go from military to civilian.
Yeah.
What would anybody have done?
Maybe nothing.
You see,
essentially, if the plan came from the military.
Now, no. Of course, if the military was backing it up and the National Assembly had given veto to it, it would have stood.
Obviously, yeah, that would have been a contraption.
You see, nobody's even thinking about that. That's one. Number two, there is what you call parliamentary democracy, which is parliament. You have a prime minister. Everything begins and ends in parliament. The prime minister is a member of parliament. The executive and legislative arms are part of parliament. What we are practicing, so it is more like parliament, that is one of the three arms of government. The judiciary, the parliament or the legislature is the one running government. I'm coming to a point. What we have today is executive president, am I correct? After the American model, which means government business is centered on the executive arm of government with support by parliament or from parliament and the other arms of government. But where we are today, we are in a situation in which without the judiciary, you can't have a governor. Without the judiciary, you can't have a president.
Also, it seems.
Without the judiciary, you can't have members of the National Assembly. Clearly, then, we have either arrived at or are verging very close on.
But that's a choice.
Judicial democracy.
That is a choice.
It is the choice of the political class, not of the Nigerian masses.
Yeah. So in all of this, so where's the Nigerian elector?
Good. The Nigerian elector is a weakened, disempowered, displaced,
disenfranchised,
kicked out, disenfranchised. You know, when Hitler was implementing the final solution in Germany in the 1930s, what they call the final solution, in search of Lebensraum, that's why the Nigerian elector has been relegated to. He has been whipped. They have. You see, when they come on election, they say they're giving people money.
Whipped into sweet surrender,
willingly or not.
Yeah.
Willingly, he has been whipped to the margins of reality, and been told never again must he turn back and question. So it's
serious. So put simply, we're in trouble.
Yeah, no, we're in more trouble than we can imagine. You see, you cannot displace a strong man by appeasement. I don't think this is the right platform to go into, but you cannot displace a strong man by appeasement.
But is it, I don't know what your crystal ball tells you. Is it possible we'll find our way home?
It is hard, but not impossible, as they say. It is only hard, but not impossible. Anything is possible if we can summon the will and the determination to seek it.
But it must start from somewhere.
It must start from somewhere. It had better started with it had better start rather with people who know, not keeping quiet, not keeping mum.
Yeah.
And being able to, in their own little corners, first of all, understand what is going on and challenge the existing order.
But isn't there the need to allow the ballot box determine the sanctity of elections?
So let's even come home to with this matter. When we hear the word or the noun phrase ballot box, what does it convey to the Nigerian? What does it convey to the elected or the one seeking election? And what does it convey to the elector? I dare say that in Nigeria of 2023, 2024, there are very few people who celebrate the fact that they voted for a candidate and another candidate won convincingly.
Yeah,
it is difficult to posit these things. Now, like I said, your question, the elector has been relegated, but something can be done if we have the determination and the will and the resolve, right?
Yeah.
To say that it will be this way or no other way, and then we stick with it.
You don't think in your heart of hearts that the Supreme Court can shun the idea of determining who wins at an election?
I'm not sure I get the question clearly.
Otherwise, saying the Supreme Court would say, go and determine what the outcome of election should be. Don't bring them to court.
No, if the Supreme Court did that, it will, they were pushing us to anarchy. I got your question before this one. You were talking with the ballot box. That ballot box can no longer be that green, is it cellophane or plastic, rubber?
Whatever it is.
Bag that day. It can't be that box anymore.
So we're in deep trouble.
It can't be that. Why can't we vote electronically? Why? What does it cost?
Okay. But have you heard the cynic who said if the ballot box determined the outcome of elections, they would change it. They would legislate against it.
Let me.
A cynic said so.
Yes, but let me bring this matter home. A professor of administration or management from my hometown, Professor Zeb Obepe, he taught me at the university. He devised a technology that gave room for electronic voting, which was, from what I know, was first used or tested at Rivers State University for student elections. Later on, I think it was also adopted for National University University students, whatever.
Foolproof.
Yes. Later on, at the Abuja National Congress elections, there was Willa Balu as to, we no agree, we go agree, we no agree. But after assurances that this thing would work, they adopted it. The INC is the equivalent of Ohaneze and Afenifere, but for the Jaws, okay? The elections were conducted electronically. There was no back-end manipulation. A leader was elected. So is the DSS not aware of this? Did the police intelligence speak this? Is INEC not aware of this? And I'm not making a case for a tribesman. Anybody can do this thing. If Nigeria was willing, we can vote electronically. Look, this one that we are doing, everybody queue, go to ballot box. When talks can come and attack you, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You should be able to sit in the comfort of your home. People are doing television reality shows and they are able to vote electronically, and people who want to elect a president cannot even vote. We must be kidding ourselves in this country.
So it's about choices.
It's a choice we've made. People have said, let us even, and this is the reason. We are not voting electronically, not because it cannot work, but because it has been rejected by the political class. Did you see what happened with IREV and what's it called? IREV and the whole election transmission technology.
Yeah.
Citizen Jones, till today, we've not had a uniform opinion of what happened on that day. Because it was used for reps people, it was used for...
It is also another choice.
God bless you, it's a choice. Like Mohammed, then information minister went overseas to go and say he didn't want because the government deliberately shut it down. That server was hosted in America, and Amazon, as far as you know, said that on that day they have servers that were servicing almost all the countries in the world. There was no place where any hitch or glitch was reported. So what happened was internal, was sabotage. Somebody went and willfully shut down the server and said votes will not be. So, and you say you're a Democrat. You're not a Democrat. You're an autocrat. You are a despot. You are a power-hungry, office-seeking fellow who just wants to, who will seek political power at any cost. And what does it come to in the end? And Nigerians happier today than they were 5 months ago. People are sincerely hope that there will be reprieve after May 29.
Cyril, we're getting close to being 64 years old as a flag and as an independent country and so on. We still are not in agreement as to what we want. So I'm envisaging a 64-year-old man not knowing where to go from here.
Nigeria knows what she wants. I'll give an example. In 2014, former President Goodluck Jonathan organized the confab, and there's this whole tome that they produced, a report.
I hear 810 pages.
People said Jonathan didn't even what's it called, seek to put it into.
But aren't they correct? If Jonathan had 11 months to tinker with the report.
Well, who is to blame more, Jonathan or Buhari, who had 8 years? If you mean well for
who was the president commander-in-chief?
Jonathan was.
Yeah.
Good, but now that he has left office, you cannot be blaming the woes of a country on the past. When President Buhari came and said that was for the archives.
We are not talking about the past here. You and I know that we have organized 10 conferences and therefore 10 conferences reports. Did Obasanjo organize anyone? No. We have agreed that our problems are not constitutional. Cyril, our problems are mainly attitudinal. Our attitude towards fixing this country warped, and the neophyte student of political science can tell you what next to expect.
Oh, most definitely. The reality again comes down to the fact that 10 conferences
and reports
that have been produced from those 10 conferences. That is on the one hand. On the other hand, you have a political leadership that is not interested in any way with implementing anything of any sort that will lead to a better Nigeria, if that will compromise their own hold. But what they realize, what they fail to realize is that nobody has ever held Nigeria forever. Abacha was there for only 5 years.
Nothing lasts forever.
For only 5 short years, you know. Obasanjo, how long was he there? One day you'll be out of circulation, and that'll be the end of your own hold on power. So why don't you do the right thing while you're there?
Okay. The viewer will understand that this is Homo Politicus, and today we're looking at election gubernatorial elections, Supreme Court thrashes decisions of the appeal court. And we have Cyril Abaku guesting. Let's take this break. We should be back.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Welcome back, folks. Let's take this discussion home. Guba polls, Supreme Court thrashes, appeal court decisions. Yeah, Cyril, let's go back there. It started from the tribunals and then to the appeal court and now to the Supreme Court. The politician is still the problem here.
He is. He clearly is. Himself and his sponsors are the real problem. And we need to now begin to ask some very salient questions.
Poignant ones.
Yes. So, for example, who should the Nigerian politician be? What should be his qualifications? What
should we raise the bar?
Of course,
should we not?
Yes, we need to raise the bar. Now, in saying this, we must be careful. I read somebody saying that good governance is not about anything. That if it is about youth, Beth Aidu was young. If it was intellectual, she was trained in America. If it was about gender, she's a woman. It was about, but it's good. A bad thing is bad on a good day. But you see, a good thing can be bad on a bad day is understandable. But to say that in a nation of good thinking...
Malcolm X put it better, succinctly, if I might say so. He said, what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right.
Is right, yes. So if on a good day, in a nation of highly educated and learned persons, we now elect that we're only going to gather people with questionable academic qualifications, people who have no history in the public space, who have no track record of what they've done for community, for society, for anybody. You just bring them from nowhere and begin to fix them into. You see, we must benchmark it thoroughly, and then we must.
Sorry, but you recall that Karl Marx and Engels talked about class struggle. It's still here.
No.
Oh, well, it's a different kettle of fish.
No, I'm not a Marxist.
I never said you were, but I'm saying they talked about class struggles, and so we're dealing with these two distinct
in fairness,
classes.
I've read some Nigerian scholars who have alluded to the fact that poverty in Nigeria is a deliberate weapon.
You believe so?
Well, because the evidence.
I'm asking because you hear the street parlance. Na poor, no crazy.
Sure, but he does not know that.
Poor, I'm not crazy.
But he does not know that poverty has been foisted upon him. Not because it's his choice to be poor. Nobody deserves to be born poor or to live poor. Yeah, but for a country that has abundant wealth, resources, and human capital, to be living below par as we are today is
living beggarly lives.
Is a travesty.
Yeah.
Nigerians have been begging for long now. Even the count itself is begging cap in hand. So clearly,
when we should not,
for any reason whatsoever, we never should. We never should. So what must happen, Citizen Jones? What must happen is we must first of all fix. I was even talking earlier about benchmarking who should run for office and who should not. But really, in a democracy, it is the people that should determine that at the ballot.
That's it.
We must go back and fix the ballot. That is the primary thing to do. Make sure that people vote that people vote and that the votes are and that the votes count. Vote security must be paramount at this time.
Does the mind go back to 2012 option A4?
1993, you mean?
1993.
Option A4.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yes. Except that it has been argued again that option A4 was a kangaroo sort of thing in which people came out to queue to vote, and a tenant could not stand behind his landlord.
If the landlord was running.
If the landlord was either running or was voting for his tribesman, they tenant couldn't come and go and stand behind someone else who wasn't, you know. So
I don't think that's...
You know, so when you're looking for a foolproof system, you need to also consider the least and the highest margins of what is acceptable and what is can be protected. So you avoid, so the secret ballot for me is still okay. But there must be clear and definite way. Why can't everyone track voting on my phone?
So, no, hold on. So what do you think went wrong with the June 12 episode?
No, but somebody was a margin winner. Why did General Babangida and all the elections?
Is it not possible to posit that the military was not intent on allowing Abiola to take over the reins of office?
Truth. That was what really happened. Again, when by the time Babangida was out of power and Abacha had become head of state, the back end story was that Abacha told MK and said, "Guy, calm down. There are a lot of elements in the army that would stage a coup in 6. Give me some time to clear the army of those elements. Then you'll be sworn in and I'll recognize you as head of state." That was the agreement they had, and then Abacha was allowed to form government. You know, when Abacha tasted honey, he realized that it was too sweet to be left. So he didn't want to leave it anymore, which was what forced MK to now go and declare himself. You see, it is the same elite.
Was MK wrong
to have allowed Abacha to? Well,
no, to have gone to declare himself.
Well, why would
was he wrong?
That? Well, why would you do that? You now see where that landed him.
Good.
He didn't have an army.
Did you not expect the Nigerian voter to rise up in his support?
So they did. They did, in fairness. You see, Nadeko and all of these were expressions of that sort of move to get justice for MQ. But you see, the problem is that social movements are not formed. That thing is not a cup of tea. It's not a tea party. It will take sweat, it will take blood, it will take life, it will take a lot of things, and it did.
Let's attempt to bury the subject matter. So the courts will be here for a long time to intervene.
No, I've said that our own democracy is potentially, it is not parliamentary, and it is definitely no longer constitutional. We are heading for a judicialized democracy. A judicialized democracy.
Is there anywhere else on the planet
who
are practicing this?
No, Nigeria is a unique country, and we are the only ones who are.
But I'm trying to see how unique we are. We are not, that we don't conform.
No, we don't. You know when they say Nigeria, they carry last. I think it was Oscar Wilde, who the famous poet, who said that don't try to be
controversial too.
Yes, don't try to be anyone else because every other person has been taken.
Yeah, and I think he also said something as crazy as, any man who lives within his means lacks imagination.
Great. So,
yeah. so we don't have the capacity to live any other way.
No.
But this.
Yes, which no other person will want to copy. So if anything must happen, it is that Plateau comes to mind. Zamfara comes to mind. Kano.
For instance, yeah.
For instance, comes to mind. All of these things, the judiciary is not the real problem, because frankly speaking, it is the pressure we're mounting on them that is making them to cave. So we must come back to our sense as a society. The Waste panel report on election reforms. Why has the president not? Why Jonathan didn't ride on it? Buhari had 8 years to ride on it. He didn't do it, and now, so why are we still where we are? I think every government just feels that if they do too much, it may come back to harm them. I won't be surprised if in 2027 we don't even hear anything about IREV. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised.
All right then, dear viewer, we are applying the brakes here. My guest seems to believe that we are stuck with the courts intervening at any point in time. In other words, a judicialization of the polity here has come to stay. Cyril, I want to thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
We're out of here. See you next time. Bye-bye now. I am Citizen Jones Ousted.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.